How to turn on and use a gas stove. If you're new to gas stoves, and I imagine you might be if you're watching this video, this is a gas stove. It's a 4-burner unit. These are the controls that control how fast the gas comes out, which is essentially how hot that burner is. There's little pictures. This is showing that this dial is the front right burner. That's this one. This one is the rear right burner, this one, and so on. So you need to look at the controls for your stove to understand what you're going to be turning on. And if you're really not sure about this, take anything else that's on the stove off. Sometimes people will put things like towels on a stovetop, which is a terrible idea. Don't put anything on there, really ideally. I tend to keep some cookware that I use a lot, some cast iron in a big pot, but it can be dangerous to have this back here and think you've turned on this burner, but in fact you've turned on that back burner. Anyway, safety first, you know. I'll turn on that light. So, getting to it, how to light a burner. Most of these, this is not the most modern style. The most modern ones will automatically light if there's not fire sensed. But I'm going to show you how this one works, and then we'll talk about how you can light it if the igniter is not working. So this has, this is just a switch. You push it in and turn, and now gas is flowing out of that burner. For this burner, you need to hold it on this section that says light, and you'll hear click, 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 click. That's a little spark machine. I'll show you that actually. If I can get it to click without gas flying. Yeah, maybe not. Let's see it. Ah, this one. Move this. Okay, so we're going to use this one that's the left front. If you look in that little hole, we'll see the igniter. We'll do it again. It's making little flashes. There it goes. So that's basically like a tiny spark. And if I give it a little bit more, the gas flows, and then the gas ignites. And then I turn more, and now it's hot and it stops clicking. All right, let's go back to this larger burner that's, I think, a little easier to see. I'll zoom back out. So that's the igniter. That happens, that's the clicking you hear, as you turn towards light. That's the rear. I'll use the front one. Look, I just made that mistake. So that's lighting. Push in, turn. And then I keep turning. And you'll notice that it starts out like quite a bit of flame. If you look at the dial, you'll see that it shows this side that you turn it onto is high, and you turn it all the way over here for low. So let's see how that looks. I'm going to turn, turn, turn. Sorry, that's my dishwasher draining in the background. Apologies. And down to low. Now, notice that if I get the camera in here, there's flame there, but it's very small. You can hardly see it. And if you're in bright light in the middle of the day, you might not realize that this is on. So when you turn it off, make sure that it's actually set to off and not low. All right, so we'll turn it back up. Let me talk about, let me turn this off for a second actually. One thing you want to think about with cooking with gas is that you're burning fire inside. You know, you wouldn't want to be in a tent with burning fire because it's consuming the oxygen. So think about, and also producing exhaust products. So whenever you're using a gas stove, you really want to have ventilation. So you can turn on your, this is my hood over the stove. See, there's the stove, there's the hood. This consists of fans that pull the air out of the kitchen, specifically over the stove, and blow it outside. So you can, you know, this is just one particular one, but you can turn it on. There's different speeds. This one has 2 sides. When I'm not filming things, because this is kind of loud, I'm always using the fan when I have this stove turned on. Okay, so this is how you turn it on, what we just went through in the case that your igniter is working. If it's not, let me explain how that works. I guess I would simulate that by unplugging my stove. I don't have matches or a lighter here actually, but I'm just going to describe it. So if you turn this guy, there's no clicking, it doesn't light. What you want to do is basically hold a bit of fire there and then turn it on. So that could be a match, a lighter, ideally a stick lighter, one that gets your hand a little far away. You don't want to risk burning yourself. So that's how you light a stove with a match, or if its igniter doesn't exist, like old stoves, or if it's broken. And sometimes they're broken, and sometimes the power is out, and the spark for that is coming from the power in your walls. But you can still use a gas stove with a match or a lighter if that's the case. It's one of the few advantages of gas over modern electric stoves, actually, like induction, which actually can cook much faster in a more controlled and safe way. All right, that was a little bit of a long video, but how to use a gas stove. Hope that helps.